Nushrratt, I want to start off. One of the things that really came out is the fact that the casting for Chhalaang, I think, is brilliantly done. But two, I like that there's sport involved, there's some competition, healthy competition involved, maybe not so healthy, and it's school. School and sports in
Yeah.
Hindi cinema has always hit the mark with the audiences. I don't know if it's the era of the competition or there's some nostalgia involved. What do you think works when you put sports in a school setting, such as Chhalaang? What do you think works for the audiences? What do you think works for you?
I think it's the fighting spirit and the winning spirit and kind of rooting for the team to win, whichever team you're rooting for. In this case, it'll obviously be Montu's team and our team that people will be rooting for. But it's almost like we've seen their story, we've seen their struggle, we've seen their hardship. We are invested with them, we are emotionally connected to them, and we want to see them win. We want to see him run faster. We want to see him take that leap. We want to see him hit the ball on the park, and we want to see this team win. It's the same thing. I'm a cricket fan, and I watch everything there is to cricket. So when IPL started, my main thing was that I kept rooting for the teams that I kept feeling emotionally connected to, because a player played well, and I'm like, he played so well, his team deserves to win. You know what I mean? So I think just that sort of a winning spirit and fighting spirit that I think India has very strongly embedded in our hearts and minds and souls, which is why a sports film does so well and it hits the right chords for us.
And of course, the second thing is the school setting. As you rightly
Right.
said, we talk a lot about the winning spirit, but I think the school setting, I think there's a sense of nostalgia that's always involved. Especially as we grow older, we almost want to look back at childhood memories. Was that the case for you when you were in that school setting? Were you reliving some of your memories? And if so, what are some of your cherished memories from school from when you were a child?
Actually, we shot at a real school in a village called Dujana. So it
Yes.
literally did feel like we were going to school every day, and our call times were early morning 6 a.m., which was exactly school timing. So it almost felt like it's a roll call time, and I have to go and say present. I'm here, class one. So it did take me back to school days, yeah. To be around kids, to have all that fun and frolic and the carefreeness and no stress and just be. Your main, I think, thing in school is to get through your periods and to play a nice sport or to chit chat with friends and go home. Just that atmosphere and vibe on that set was just so amazing. We would see kids go away on cycles, and then some of them would walk back to their houses, and it was just so amazing to see that friendship, that camaraderie, and that life on set, because we don't get to do that very often. So it was the children that made me feel nostalgic about school. It was their presence that took me back to the kids I saw around my school when I was in school. And memories are lost. Yeah, I was somebody who didn't like to do sports, didn't like PT. I didn't like being under the sun in this ground like this, but on this set, I was under the sun on this ground for days. So it was, well, I did do it eventually. But yeah, such things happened.
One of the things that I think is really something that there's some progression in Hindi cinema specifically is that this concept of masculinity is being redefined. So the Hindi film hero no longer has to be this muscular, tall hero who's sort of, punching people. And the Hindi film hero has really been redefined. One of the people who has been sort of a front runner in this has been Rajkummar Rao, and of course Ayushmann Khurrana as well. You acted with him in Dream Girl,
Yeah.
and it's phenomenal because toxic masculinity is slowly, I think, eroding in Hindi cinema. I think one of the things that really caught my attention in the Chhalaang trailer is just that masculinity is being redefined once again. What do you think Hindi films is doing now that shows that progression, that redefining that Hindi hero, that masculinity, and what can you as actors do to make sure that conversation keeps going?
I think the reason this is happening is because our audiences are evolving, and I've always kind of felt that if they don't support these films and if they don't want to watch these films, we never get a chance to play them, and we'll never get the chance to watch them. So I feel like every film Raj or Ayushman have chosen to do is is also kind of validating the fact that their audiences are wanting to see them in that new way. So their films are getting that appreciation. They are getting that box office commerce back. They are getting the support from the audiences, the media, and as well as the industry. So cumulatively, we've grown towards that one bifurcated path that heroes and stories can take. You're very correct when you say that the masculinity conversation has changed, and it's kind of really, if you want to ask me, I see it like a seamless transition into a male hero to just a real life guy next door, because a guy next door is not going to really be a hero. He probably disappoint you. He probably not be able to save you. He probably not have those muscles. He probably not have the money or the car, but he'll still be by your side, supporting you and loving you unconditionally. And that's the man you choose to be the man in your life. I mean, who's to tell that there is a prototype of a man that defines, oh, that's the man I want to be with? That's just aspirational. I think that line has become a little seamless, where we've become more acceptable to flaws a man could have, which earlier were just not something people wanted to even talk about. Forget accepting and forget actually showing. So the flawed masculine hero now is somebody far more acceptable and endearing to a larger audience, whether it's female or other men, because men are flawed and they connect with the flaw in the man they see on screen. And that works. I mean, today, a balding man does great business. I mean, did you think about that? Like, can you ever make a film on that? I was like, wow, that's just amazing. You made him a hero. So tomorrow, a man who's prematurely balding will feel like he's the hero and he can totally get the girl of his dreams, That conversation is really important. We've just become more real. We've become, all of those things I said above. I'm going to go in circles because it's a conversation that is never ending. I could just keep going. I could keep going in it. But I hope you get what I'm saying. And
I do. And I think one of the great things about Chhalaang as well is that it's Hansal Mehta who's directing it. And the funniest thing about Hansal Mehta directing Chhalaang is that in the recent past, and he said this at the trailer launch as well, Rajkummar Rao is not dying. He's not killing somebody, right? It's a very different sphere than we've seen Hansal Mehta and Rajkummar Rao sort of team up in recent times. What is it about Hansal Mehta as a director that brings out the best in an actor? Because I do think that he can bring out the best in an actor. What do you think works for the actor when it comes to Hansal?
The fact that he trusts his actors, the fact that he lets them breathe the character into their mind, body, soul, veins, blood, everything. He will give you like a basic skeleton of it, of how he would like it to kind of be. But you've got to now build the muscle and the flesh and the fat and the eyes you basically got to give it the characteristics that you want to see it have. And he kind of accepts that vision that you've built. What happens with that is you're so much more invested as an actor because you've created this character. And now you have a certain vision as well. So when you are acting this character, you will know that, wait, I think I'm doing this wrong. I don't see this character go here. I had envisioned a very different character. So you have a sense of responsibility and ownership of your own creation, which has to be in sync with the director. But I feel like the magic happens when you're equally invested in creating it, rather than somebody constantly telling you, you know what, turn to right, say it like this, tone it down, up the vibe. It's almost like it's programming, which doesn't work. And you'll not get a natural sort of vibe with it. You'll know that it's not effortless. You'll feel like it's done to kind of fit a certain direction, which is not what Hansal sir does. He lets you be, he lets you breathe, he lets you do what you want to do. And then you just see it pure and natural and come to life.
I think that something that Hansal sir said as well at the trailer launch is that Chhalaang hopefully will leave you with a smile on your face when you finish the film. What was your personal takeaway from Chhalaang as an actor, and whether or not it has impacted you on a personal or a professional level?
Both personal and professional. Professional because I got to learn from a lot of people on the set, people that I've been wanting to learn from and waiting to see how they make something on paper come alive on screen. Yeah. what their vision is, how they execute it, and what the end product is eventually going to look like. That was a great learning curve for me personally, because I got to experience this character through somebody else's eyes. I got to be this character and be in a world which I've never been in before. Nobody's put me in this setup before. I got to challenge myself. I got to push the envelope as an actor. I got to break my safety net by, not going back to those things that you fall back on. That, oh, if it's romance, just let's smile like this, let's sharmao like this. We had to little break down all those things and find new ways of doing exactly the same things, but just in a new way. That was great for me on a personal level.
Fantastic. Nushrratt, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for an engaging dialogue. I really appreciated it. And wonderful talking to you, wonderful chatting with you. All the very best, and looking forward to watching
Thank
Chhalaang
you.
very shortly.
Thank you so much, Arun. Thank you so much.